What's up, YouTube? My name is Jaden Duenas, and I am a visual artist of many different trades. I do a lot of photography lately, videography. I'm trying to get into some music production right now. Paint, I draw, I develop my own film for film photography. Man, like graphic logo design. Don't hit me up about logos though. I'm not doing logos, but I do graphic design. So before we even get started, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit me with a subscribe right now. Thank you very much just in advance. You can go ahead and like this video. Thank you very much just in advance. And if anything about this video in particular is intriguing to you, leave a comment and let's discuss. I'm really into like the Socratic kind of method of learning and understanding things about the world. So the more insight that you can bring to provide me, the better I'm gonna be, the better you're gonna be, and the better this video can be in the future as well. So now I'm gonna get into this discussion about social media in a sec, but again, you can find me on social media. I have all my stuff linked below, but I'm gonna get into this video and kind of discuss how I use social media as an artist. So one of the kind of crazy things about social media that's been coming about lately is kind of these ideas about addiction and how social media platforms are designed to be addictive and to make us just want more and more and keep scrolling. That's how they make money. If you haven't yet seen The Social Dilemma, you should check that out for sure. It's a documentary on Netflix, and it really puts a lot of this stuff into perspective, kind of framing us as users as essentially the product that Facebook is selling. So Facebook is selling us and our data to the businesses that they receive money from. People talk about like, why is this app free? Ha ha ha. It's free because you're the product that they're selling to somebody else. It has to be free for you to participate. So definitely check that film out. It's got a lot of really good, interesting statistics and like ideas that they present about the world of social media. And now today I kind of want to put that into a different light. As artists, I feel like part of the issue with social media and what makes it so addicting and makes us want to keep going back for more and more is the fact of, honestly, social pressures and social acceptance that occurs on these platforms. So if I post a picture and it gets X amount of likes, it makes me feel good, right? And that's actually a chemical reaction taking place. That is like the dopamine reaction that occurs, with other sorts of good feelings that we experience as humans. You get that from social media, and it makes you want to keep going back for more and more, like on a brain chemistry level. Now, if we think that's bad for the average Joe who gets home from work and takes a picture of his kid and posts it and gets that kind of rush from it, picture how much more that applies to us as artists who post our content online for the means of social acceptance and legitimation in the art world. So now forget just a picture of my kid after work. I don't have a kid, but forget a picture of just my kid after work. Now I'm posting stuff that I need to get out online for people to accept me as an artist and to validate my work. Usually we talk about validation and legitimation, social pressures from the idea of like, don't mind that, like focus on yourself, like you're good enough for yourself type thing, and like always just being happy with yourself, we say. But I feel like just the nature of art in this social media age is very contrary to that. So I can live for myself and be happy with myself in terms of like, I'm okay if X, Y, and Z happens in my life and in my experiences that I see day to day. But in terms of art, if I'm making a piece of artwork from the position of being an artist who wants to have work for people to see and enjoy and appreciate, posting it into a dull void where nobody interacts with it and there is no like social legitimation from it, it's pointless, So just the nature of how artists create art and then put it out into the world makes these social pressures from social media and this addictiveness to social media so much more relevant in our lives. I feel it's so much more applicable to us. So today I want to talk about just kind of a new way to use social media. I feel at least it's new in my life, and so this new way does entail using social media still, and still using it by the means that we intend to use it as artists, but it's removing the aspect of the average Joe kind of social media figure from your life and just doing the parts of an artist. So let me just start with this. When I used to be on social media, I was probably just like a lot of you watching this right now. I wasn't always posting art and photography on there. There was a point when I was posting memes. There's a point where I was just posting fun pictures on Snapchat. There was just stuff like that. It brought me into that consumer cycle of social media where I just constantly went to social media to fill voids in my life. Voids in terms of like boredom, for example. So like I'm missing the excitement that I want right now, and so I'm gonna scroll through Instagram for quite a while. And I used to just do that like every day. If I didn't have something else I was supposed to be doing, I would sit there and I'll just scroll and scroll and scroll. And then at points it even put me in difficult positions when I did have something to be doing, because then that feeling of wanting to just keep scrolling would just keep happening. It puts you in this like really helpless kind of rhythm that's honestly pretty inescapable. And so I don't know the exact way to escape that for you. I can tell you what I kind of did, and I'll get into that in a sec. But all I'm presenting in this video is just the other side of it. So the way that you get from this inescapable kind of rhythm to the other side is on you, or finding someone who does have that information for you. But I'm gonna share what I did to get myself past that point, so just hold tight one sec. So the other side of that, kind of like the land of the free that we can escape to, should we be able to escape. You know, I hate to use kind of words like that, but should we be able to? Should you be able to? But what the other side of it does look like is just using social media as almost more of a gallery than anything else. And so I kind of picture it as like, what did artists do before social media? You know, there had to have been a way, because art has been a thing forever. Essentially every kind of visual artist, so painters, photographers, etc. There was very likely a point in each of their lives where they had to set up their own galleries and kind of just do a display and exhibit of their work, but just probably like a solo one or like a smaller one where they place their work with other people. I think that this kind of theory even applies between like large art galleries, like large exhibitions as well, and kind of the way that they still do it today, I think can be applied to the social media theory. So let's get to it. When an artist creates that gallery and builds that exhibit, all they can do is control how it looks, how it's presented, how it's kind of marketed per se. They can send out those invitations, and then the rest is just organic, and they have to let it happen, you know? And they can stand there and be next to their gallery, make sure their name is on every single piece, and make sure people know how to appreciate it appropriately with their name on it. But at the end of the day, that's all they have the power to do. All of their reputation that's built from this gallery exhibit that they're displaying comes from the natural traffic and the natural word of mouth and people sharing their stuff. And as artists, we know we can't control that, of course. That's other people and sociological factors that are going to take course and potentially bring that piece of artwork to somewhere where it's appreciated with your name on it. You can't influence that directly, but you can influence it very indirectly. So for example, when setting up an exhibition, making sure that the quality of the work that you're putting up is your best work, making sure you know how it's placed strategically, making sure you know who's gonna be there at what time so you can communicate with those people as much as you possibly can. Those kinds of things you can take into your own hands and potentially increase like the social output of that gallery. So my idea is to use social media in that exact same way. Each one of my social pages are its own gallery that are independent of each other, and that I set up and optimize for eyes and for people and for organic kind of foot traffic to take place, those sociological factors to run its course and potentially bring that piece of work to be something great. So an example of that, maybe on like a website, is the SEO, making sure that it's optimized to be found on search engines, or at least by word of mouth and people in that industry. There's a similar kind of SEO concept among all social media platforms, but especially on YouTube, like naming a YouTube video, having a good description, and knowing what you're putting in there based on what people might be searching about that topic. That's a perfect way to increase that foot traffic. It's like taking your small exhibition and putting it right in the middle of Times Square for everyone to see. That's the idea behind SEO, giving it all of the keywords it needs to be found easily by as many people as possible. So now that gallery and optimization approach is what I take towards social media. I've basically eliminated the part of social media that includes me as just a consumer. I don't keep Instagram on my phone. I don't keep Twitter on my phone anymore. The only social media I really have is Visco right now, and I've just been like slowly kind of getting onto there. It's just a pretty cool platform, honestly. I really like its focus on photography and art versus just like random anything that anyone wants to post. Like in theory, you could post whatever you want, but the community that's been built there encourages growth for other artists and for other photographers, etc. I don't love the fact that you have to like pay for the membership. I mean, you can post whatever you want, but it's like a bit more limited unless you pay for a membership. That's a little weird to me, but I see what they're doing, and the membership isn't that expensive. It's like, I think like $1.50 a month, like $20 a year, whatever it is. I don't know. But that's the only type of social media that I regularly engage with. And that's just still an artistic form of social media. I'm not using that for personal stuff. Now, I do check my social media from time to time. I keep those apps on like either a separate device, or I go onto the desktop like the Instagram.com and just see what's been going on. But I'm not posting on there, I'm not using the stories, anything like that. But that's then where the artistic gallery side comes into play, because I do need to access those apps still. I do need to access those accounts, and so I don't put them on my phone. I keep them on another device or on here, because then I can just post as I need to my artistic, my gallery kind of stuff. When I've got a new set of photos that I'm ready to post, or I want to post about a YouTube video, I can just put that out there, optimize it so that it will get found, hopefully. And if it doesn't, then I can't do much more than I've already done, you know? I kind of just go across the board, and I'll be like, okay, I've got this new project that just came out. How do I want to like go about it? And I have all my social media listed out, so I can kind of just develop a plan for each one of those posts. And then I just distribute according to that plan, and then I'm off again. You know, and then I find that doing that, I have a lot more time for things like listening to music that I want to listen to and enjoy, not just in the background. I've got time for making art and doing photo shoots and editing and making money other ways, just finding like projects to get onto and stuff like that. Just I have a lot more time, like reading. I haven't had time to read since I was like 7, you know what I mean? So putting social media to the side to allow space for those other things has really done me well in a lot of areas of my life. But that started for me with this decision to move toward this gallery approach. Just set up everything, distribute it according to a plan, and then hands-off approach. I don't want to be a social media user or consumer anymore. I just want it so I can use the benefits that it has brought to my life, which is being able to publish my content for free without buying a gallery space, you know. And so here's a bit more about how I actually got to that point. Like I said, that cycle is pretty inescapable. I'll say this, it takes a lot of self-discipline to remove yourself from a rhythmic cycle like that. And so it wasn't really simple at all. I don't know that my way is gonna work for everybody, but it took a period of like fasting, of reading a lot, of meditating, pushing myself to work out when I didn't want to, cold showers at one point, like eating right, building your self-discipline in all of these aspects of your life really enables you to pursue self-discipline in other areas of your life. It's almost like a self-discipline muscle. And so you have to exercise it a lot, doing these different things in order to strengthen it all around so that you can carry that weight that is not being able to use something that you become addicted to, essentially. I feel like that kind of concept would apply to like narcotics addiction, to like alcohol addiction, to whatever. Like addiction is a helplessness in terms of self-control and self-discipline. And so if you're able to re-encourage yourself to work on those areas and strengthen yourself in that, you can really accomplish anything you want to do, including taking long, good intention breaks from social media, which you should be doing. And so like I said, my process was fasting. I did like a 36-hour fast, which isn't like a ton for people who do that regularly for spiritual reasons or self-discipline, like whatever they're doing it for. But I did like a 36-hour fast last year as like a preface to this, and kind of like an encouragement, understanding that I can take this break. I can remove myself from this world that I've become addicted to. I'm going to use the word helplessness as a plural. So helplessnesses. All of our weaknesses and like kind of faults in life come from helplessnesses in terms of self-discipline, I feel. At least a majority do. So most things that you find aren't going well in your life are likely something that you need to work on self-discipline and self-control for. There are plenty of things where that's not the case and they're out of your hands, but if something is within your grasp of being changed and it hasn't been changed, it's probably just concerned with self-discipline. And so I think that's my encouragement for you this week. Like, find what you need to work on. Find your weakness. Find what isn't going great in your life that is just within grasp of being changed but hasn't been changed yet. And really start diving into why it hasn't been changed. What's holding you back? What are areas of your life that can be improved with like self-denial and self-discipline? And then the next step is, how can you do that for yourself? Again, fasting within healthy, reasonable like parameters. Please, I'm gonna say that right now. Do not just start not eating. That's not the point of that. But I feel like reasonable, well-intentioned fasting is really a great help in my experience. Please see a doctor before you do that yourself. But working out, eating healthy, like I said, cold showers, that's a hard one. To get into a shower on a day where it's 30 degrees outside and meet 20 degrees in the shower, like nah. But I did it, and I don't do it anymore, but I did it just as a way to learn that and work on that muscle of like pushing yourself to do things that you don't want to do, pushing yourself in areas that haven't been pushed before. So with that, I'm gonna just leave it this week. I'll probably just start editing this video right now actually, and I'll have it up in a few days, so when you're watching this likely. Again, please subscribe to this channel. It means the world, and it's been making a lot of growth lately, which I love to see. Make sure you find me on Instagram, Jaden Duenas _. I'm gonna have all that and my Visco that I've recently just started getting into. All that linked below. And lastly, check out my website, jd-originals.com. You can find all of my artwork there, all of my photo sets, my video projects, everything that I've got coming up, interviews that I've done, like the whole thing is on there, as well as prints. I've got paintings for sale, like check it out. Before I head out, I'm gonna just say that I missed the Spotify playlist last week, also because I missed the video last week. It was a whole lot of stuff going on last week, but I'm back with week 13 right now. It's updated, it's up there, really great music this week, so check that out. You can find the link to that below, along with the link to the archive that has music from weeks 1 through 12 as well, so please check that out. Thank you for watching. I'm out.